Traveling that is flavoring food with mustard, pepper, and sometimes vinegar. It dates back to before the 18th century. Now, back in the 1950s, it really came into its stride and everything was deviled. You had deviled eggs, you had deviled ham, and even deviled pork chops. I've eaten a few of those and they're not really that good. But we've got someone here who's going to solve all of our deviling problems. It's our Angel Elle, and she's going to show us how to make the perfect deviled pork chop.
Well, this recipe is a throwback classic and it's one of my favorites. So there are 3 components to this dish, and the first is going to be the crust. Okay? We're starting with half a cup of panko because it has a nice craggy texture. So I'm going to brown the panko in 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter for about 3 to 5 minutes over medium heat.
Well, that makes sense. You're not starting off with just raw breadcrumbs and hoping that they get crisp in the oven. You're starting off with something that's already crisp.
Right. Those look great.
Beautiful.
Nice and brown. You can hear the crunch.
Super crispy.
So I'm just going to transfer it to a bowl. And to it, I'm going to add an 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Just for some flavor.
Okay.
So I'm just going to set that aside for now.
All right.
So the second component of our dish is our paste, right? So this is the part that makes the breadcrumbs stick. It's the part that actually gives the whole chop its flavor.
It's the deviling and it's the glue.
Yep, and guess what? This is where the devil's in the details.
Ah!
So our charge here is to create a bold flavor that has a balance between spiciness and acidity.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Super important here. So I'm going to start with a 1/4 cup of Dijon mustard. We're starting off pretty intense here. Also 2 teaspoons of packed brown sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of dry mustard,
2 kinds of mustard,
a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic that's been minced into a paste, a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper.
There's the heat.
Oh yeah. 1 teaspoon each of pepper and salt. You see where we're going here?
I do, and I see that you use 2 different kinds of pepper. You're bringing the Hades to the set here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's levels to this. We have a great combination of spiciness, acidity. So I'm just going to set this aside and we're going to start working on our chops.
Sounds good.
Okay, Bridget, we have our main component, pork chops. And they're on a wire rack set into a baking sheet that we've sprayed with nonstick cooking spray. Okay, and there's a reason for that. We'll get there. So I'm just going to pat these dry. It's going to help our mustard paste stick properly.
And these aren't those paper thin pork chops that I've seen done before. These are what, like an inch thick or something?
Yeah, 3/4 to an inch thick.
And never use bone-in pork chops for deviled pork chops because that breading coats everything. I've made that mistake once.
All right, I'm going to start putting the paste on, and you only need about a tablespoon per chop. I'm going to paste them all, and you can brush it on.
It's a good idea to divvy it up first. That way you know that you haven't run out by the time you get to the last one.
So I'm going to brush the tops and the sides. And there's no need to brush the bottom because it'll just stick to the pan, and we want to savor all the flavor. We don't want to waste anything.
And all that would just drip down and be gone.
And be gone. So each chop gets 2 tablespoons of panko.
Okay, that's quite a bit too. That's good. You're not skimping on anything.
No, this is how we get the crunch factor. No skimping here. And I'm just spreading it out with a tablespoon. You can use your hands if you like.
And these are natural pork chops too, right?
Yes.
So it's a good idea to use natural here, especially because we're breading them. If you use enhanced pork chops, that's pork chops that have been soaked or injected with a saline solution, well, they can actually start to weep a little bit and you might get kind of a soggy crust. Plus, natural pork just tastes better.
These look amazing and they're ready for the oven.
They're gorgeous. They actually look like they're already cooked.
Well,
I know that they're not.
They're not. They're not. And one of the most common mistakes in cooking these deviled pork chops is that they get dried out from the broiling method that we use, and they're cooking from the outside in.
Right.
What we want to do is cook it low and slow at 275 degrees for 40 to 50 minutes so they can cook evenly.
So the whole method to me makes so much sense. You pre-brown the breadcrumbs because at 275 they're not really going to brown that much in the oven for that length of time. And there was no searing on the stovetop because you're coating it with beautiful breadcrumbs. Don't need to do it.
We don't need to do it.
All right.
So we're going to cook it 40 to 50 minutes or until the internal temperature is 140 degrees. Oh my goodness.
Gorgeous.
I'm so ready to eat these. Look what we did. That looks amazing. All right, so I'm just going to temp these. Going into the center. Make sure it's at 140 degrees. Yeah, we're there.
Oh, so good.
I know. I know you want to eat these right away, but we have to let them rest for about 10 minutes.
All right, so they'll cool down, but also they're going to rise in temperature just a little bit.
Just
right?
a little bit.
All right.
Don't let that little devil on your shoulder tempt you to touch these chops.
Yeah, well, get rid of that guy.
Guess what time it is?
I hope it's eating time.
It is definitely eating time. There's a chop for you.
Gorgeous. And you know, a crunchy breadcrumb coating, you know, is sometimes used to hide some mistakes within, but I doubt it with you.
It's only one way to find out. Look at that meat. It's so moist and juicy.
That is beautiful. It's evenly cooked as well.
Oh, yeah. I'm going in.
You're going in.
Yeah.
Get the whole package here.
That fiery, spicy balance is there.
It is fiery. There's some kick there, but it's also tangy.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That little bit of sweet from the brown sugar
Yeah.
and that tanginess from the Dijon mustard.
It's crunchy.
Super crunchy too. The complexity of the flavor of that paste
Yeah.
is perfection. Thank you for bringing us these amazing deviled pork chops.
My pleasure.
Well, if you want to make these at home, and I'm telling you, you do want to make them at home, it all starts with a great